I get a lot of good ideas like super late at night.
Yeah.
When I've got to be up early in the morning.
Yeah.
Well, because I do a fair bit of work at night, like when the kids are going to bed.
Yep.
And obviously I've got to be up in the morning, take them to school. And there's been many, many late nights where, like, I'm feeling this song, I'm vibing out, things are coming good, I'm getting good ideas. Things are coming together, and I'm looking at the time, it's like midnight, and I'm like, I just probably go to bed, eh? Like,
Kids will be up soon.
Yeah, and then you do it the next night, because you're feeling it, and you don't want to cut that tether short, you want to, if it's a few late nights, I can sleep later.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is. It's fun. It's like, you're when you're on the juice. It's like
exactly.
you don't want to let this train run.
You want to ride it.
Let's see how long this will go for.
Yeah, but like, and when you're having those big creative bursts and things are coming freely and things are good, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, you feel so good, eh?
Yeah, you do.
And you don't want, I should probably go to bed. Like, nah, I want to ride this.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're doing it. We're doing it because we love doing it. So why stop?
Yeah. Do you feel like it energizes you?
Big time.
And you're like, I didn't really even need all that sleep.
Yeah. But you do. You get pumped. You're like, how cool is this? How cool is this song?
It's hard to go to sleep though. Don't you find that?
It can be.
You have to listen to some peaceful instrumental music.
Gee, if only I had some.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Good Vibes Show. Today I'm interviewing Chris from Tear, and we're going to have a conversation about Chris's music. And he's an instrumental artist. You've got some really cool vibes. I've really been getting into it lately.
Thank you.
So we're going to have a conversation about Chris's music. If you're new to the show and you're listening on audio, please make sure you click like or subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It really helps us get found. And if you're on the audio, please rate us. Rate us on Spotify. Rate us on Apple. And thank you so much for listening. And we hope you enjoy the show. So, awesome. Chris, you're from Perth. Mm-hmm. I'm from Perth.
Yep.
Welcome to Perth.
Thanks.
We have people from all over the world watching this. So what's great about your music is it's quite different. I found it quite interesting. And cool. I was actually, when you sent it to me, your new EP that you're putting out, I was doing some work on my computer and I was pleasantly in the zone.
Nice.
By listening to it. It's really great. So what got you into that style of music and making that, do you think?
I think when I very first started, back in 2011, I was playing in like heavy metal bands.
Wow.
And basically I just wanted to do something that was not heavy metal at all, pretty much. Mm-hmm. So I just went, totally left the field and started just making like just weird ambient stuff, just making noises with my guitar and just, kind of
awesome.
stuff.
The opposite of heavy metal.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I find, I don't know if this is true, but like I've heard that people who are into heavy metal really like orchestral
as
probably. Well. Is that true? Like they're into the, I don't know, the mathematical aspect of music.
Yeah, probably.
Is that a thing?
Like I guess the compositional aspects of it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's something to wind down.
Yeah.
After 8 hours of heavy metal, you need something to chill out with for a bit.
What does a headbanger listen to when they're not banging their head?
That's it, exactly.
Awesome. And have you always written your own music, or
Yeah, so I do everything. I produce it myself as well.
Yeah.
Typically, previously I did like absolutely everything.
Yeah.
But this time I've reached out and had it mastered. Mm-hmm. So I reached out to the talented Brodie Stewart, who's in Perth as well. Mm-hmm. He was a pleasure to work with. He just made that, just the last little polish on the songs, made them really, really shine.
Yeah, nice.
And reached out to this lady Claire, who runs her own business called Works with Quirks, to do all the packaging.
Oh, cool.
For the CD. So.
Right. So is this your first EP?
It'll be my first physical CD.
Yep.
Which is why I've reached out for the packaging. Because before I just a digital picture, so I didn't need all the extra stuff. Because when I was going to do it myself, but I was getting a bit overwhelmed with packaging and fitting into templates and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I think it's funny because, well, not funny, but it's very common for people that, like, when you're starting a business, or musicians when they're first starting out, you're starting a business, and there's not necessarily any money coming in. There's a lot of stuff going out.
Yeah, that's right.
And you're also dealing with other people in the arts who are in that similar situation often, and so it's hard to sometimes justify the expense, isn't it, to spend on those things when you. But at the same time, sometimes for me it bogs me down. Like, it could take me ages to do something that I'm not really good at doing.
Yeah, definitely. But because I do all my own recording and producing, so that probably saves a fair bit of coin.
Yeah, wow. Okay. And how did you learn how to do that?
YouTube mostly.
Yeah. Mate, YouTube, you should get a PhD from YouTube.
Yeah, I reckon,
It's amazing, like, what you can learn on there.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah,
yeah,
for
just
sure.
like I haven't been to audio school or anything.
Yeah.
It's all just self-taught, a lot of trial and error. And yeah, a lot of YouTube. There's a lot of great channels out there for learning stuff.
Any that you'd recommend? Any shout-outs you want to give?
No,
You don't have to do that. They should pay you for the shout-out.
Yeah, there's no one I know personally. Otherwise, I probably would.
Okay, well, fair enough. That's right. I didn't want to put you on the spot there. Well, it's funny you should ask me. Here's
a list I prepared earlier.
My sponsors. So you do all the production on your own tracks. How long do you think it would take you then to make something where it's an idea in your head or a feeling or just something you think, oh, I'm going to write a song, or I'll start to write a song today to the end of the song?
Yeah, it varies a lot. Some songs just come really quick. You smash, you get that lightning bolt of creativity, you're smashing it out. Then other songs, you can hit brick walls, you can be stuck on them. Something about the song can be annoying you. You can't get something to sound right, or
Oh, what the hell is that?
It's not good. Power's going out.
That was a ghost in here.
It really does vary a lot, because even something as simple as like a synth sound, like you can have something written, but trying to create the actual sound, or like the synth patch, you could be sitting there for ages, just like, no, this sounds crap, you know what I mean? And other times you just, piss farting away and like, oh, I like the sound of that, and it's done, pretty much.
Yep.
So I can't really put a time frame on a song, it's too hard.
But sometimes they do come out very quickly.
They do,
Yep.
big time, and sometimes they can be your favourite ones too.
Yeah, it's got a feeling. What do you think that when you think back to what music does for you as a person? Like, 'cause obviously you've written quite a lot of tracks and you've worked on a lot of stuff music-wise. You keep coming back to it. What does it do for you that nothing else can do?
Well, it just takes me away, really. Like, you can de-stress, you can forget about things that are going on, especially if you've got bad things going on, you can use it to kind of escape, or to, like with this EPs, because I had some stuff going on, it's kind of helped heal, help you process. Trying to create, I describe it like a blank canvas, right? And you're trying to express yourself. Cause sometimes music can just be a really good way to express yourself.
Yeah, I did feel that in your tracks.
Yeah.
Like, I could feel something like, it was very, I would say, emotive.
Oh, cool.
Like, this is what I wrote down when I listened to your songs today. I was like, super emotive, instrumental. That's
cool.
how I would describe it.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, almost anticipatory as well. And a lot of your tracks that I listened to. Thank you for sending me your EP that's coming out. That was lovely, and even the stuff that you got on Spotify already, like that stuff. There's a lot of difference there. Like, there was one that had a really big guitar feature, and some of them don't have that kind of feature. And I found that was nice to have that range of different things in there. It's good music. You could listen to it in the background, but it's not so, I wouldn't say it's so, sometimes that kind of background music can be so monotonous that it's too monotonous, and you're like, oh, this is, piecing me out into oblivion, and I need to actually like have something to
A bit-
focus
that's a
my
bit
mind.
more stimulating.
Yeah, exactly. So it's good. It's good. And it'd be something that you could. I don't know whether you put it on at a party, depending on the mood, but it's something you could
Depending on the
have
party,
on.
maybe.
Yeah, exactly. You could have it on. You could have it on in the background of sorts, right? Yeah, I think there's a place for instrumental music, and there's also a place for like long tracks that we don't see promoted in the music culture right now.
Yeah.
I would say, right, like a healing place. And I was listening to a guy being interviewed on, do you know that guy Rick Beato?
Yeah, he's wicked.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the guy that was being interviewed on his channel, so I forgot his name.
Oh, he's done heaps of things.
But recently, and he's got his own thing, and he was talking, he does a lot of historic stuff on music. And it was either on that or something else where he was talking about the length of song being needing to be 10 minutes for someone to get into a trance state.
Yeah, right.
And they'd done research to show that that's a thing, and that's sometimes why people maybe play a song in a 3-minute song. They might feel the need to replay it.
Yeah, yeah.
To get that vibe.
Yeah.
But there's something about a longer song, and he was talking about his story of music, like, you know, when it was used in the court jester days and whatnot, where you'd have, you know, come here, come here, goblin, and play me a song.
Bring me grapes.
Yeah, bring me a song, and yeah, exactly, and they would use it to soothe people's moods and things like that. And also to get people in that hypnotic state, right? And that's something I think we're missing is those longer songs, and your kind of songs provide some of those longer. It's long enough to get into
That's a good point, actually.
mood of it.
Especially because music now, it's so quick and fast, right? And like things like TikTok, you know, videos that go for like 6 seconds. Like, what's that? If not interest, you see people swiping. It hasn't interested them in 2 seconds. Next.
Yeah.
Haven't even given it a chance yet.
Yep.
And and the music, I think, has gone that way. Like radio, you don't hear a song over 3 minutes. You know, songs barely got started sometimes in 3 minutes. So yeah, and there's, like you said, those songs aren't given a chance.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so the good thing is we can be in charge of our own music.
Exactly.
And you don't have to be at the mercy of the radio these days. And I think the people listening to this are not the radio mercy people.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, and so that's great, and that, like, it is good that you were able to do that. It's good that you're able to, possibly your ability to produce those songs takes away some of that constraint, that financial constraint of thinking, oh, I've got to, because every minute you make of a song costs you more money.
Exactly.
If you don't know how to do all those things that's needed to get that song over the line, right?
And I've got a lot of layers, so
Yeah.
like a lot of tracks, and I assume, you know, producers probably charge per track of each song, if you know what I mean? Like, say if you got 3 guitars, 3 keyboards, you know, all that kind of stuff. I've got a lot of layers.
I don't know if any charge. It'd be interesting to know that. I just know ones that charge by the hour.
Yeah.
But so it makes sense if there's more layers, they have to go through all the layers.
Yeah, and you know, if I got 30 layers of a 13-minute song,
Yeah.
you know, like
You have to take out a second mortgage.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's good. I think that's something different about your music, and the second thing is just instrumental, right? Like we're bombarded by the vocal in the song to the
definitely.
point where when you sent me those songs, because I didn't know you, and I listened to your music and I was like listening for when is the voice going to start, because I had to tell myself, like, no, the voice doesn't have to start. Like, as in, this might be an instrumental. And I was like, oh, would it be? That's what I was asking. So, would it be an instrumental? Like.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't be thinking like that. Like, we should have that in our, I don't know, our repertoire of people that are, like, there should be more people in the world that do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you don't have to have vocals all the time.
Yeah.
Like, if I can say what I need to say with the music alone, why do I need to talk as well?
Yeah. So that brings me to my next question. Like, do you have an idea of what you are trying to say in terms of, like, do you think, oh, if I wrote words to this is what the words would say? This is what I'm trying to get out? Like, you're trying to say something? Yep.
Yeah, so generally I've definitely got at least a kind of vibe. Not necessarily, you know, like I woke up today, this is what I did, I felt crap or whatever, but at least a general vibe, and I want to, or a certain feeling or emotion, and I want to try and create that through sound.
Yep.
But without obviously literally saying it. So there's generally, for most of the songs, I've got an idea, or the idea might sort of form as I'm writing the song. Mm-hmm. So I might just be noodling away, and then, I'm starting to get ideas together, and I'm like, oh, this could, maybe I could spin it this way. Mm-hmm. And then I can then sort of hone in on that idea, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Yep. Which is good, because then it helps direct the song, but gives me like purpose.
Yeah.
So if I know what kind of vibe or sound I want to make, it narrows down a lot of my like productive choices.
Yeah, okay.
If you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like if I want to create something that's dark and moody, I can go for certain synth sounds, or have like eerie background guitars, rather than having like big joyous, big warm sounding things, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
So.
And are you thinking about the song like what you want other people to feel, or what you're trying to express?
What I'm trying to express.
Yep.
And like, because at the end of the day, I make the songs for me.
Yep.
So I'm trying to express something, but at the same time, I'm not going to say, all right, this is how you have to feel listening to this song. Like, I'm just going to, this is what I was trying to express. Where does it take you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I might listen to a song and go, well, this song's a bit, bit dark, but someone else might get a totally different vibe from it. Like, music's very subjective.
Yeah.
And I guess the good thing about instrumental music is you can keep that subjectiveness rather than, because when you got words, it really like narrows down how the song is, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
Like if you're singing a certain thing, okay, this song's about a breakup, or this song's about, having a child or whatever, But when it's instrumental, people can take their own interpretation of it, which I reckon is really, really cool.
Yeah, it is cool. It is cool. It doesn't box them in.
Exactly.
And do you like get fans? Do fans feedback what they felt to you, and ever that's sort of like different to what you expected, or?
Sometimes, yeah, but well, I don't have many fans anyway. But
you will after this show.
I hope so.
Watch out, buddy. Better clear some room in that fan email.
Yeah. Not people don't really express how they felt.
Yeah.
When listening, like it would be cool if more people did. Because
do you have social media? Like, do you use Facebook or Instagram? Or
not a huge. I've barely used it, but I'm definitely getting into it.
Yeah.
More now.
I mean, you might not want to know. Some people who are artists don't want to interact with people as much. Like they find that a part of the process that's either arduous or doesn't help their creativity.
I'll bring it on.
Yeah.
If my songs, if you're listening to them at night in bed before you go to sleep, and you got something out of it, I'd love to know.
Yeah, great. All right. Well, what we'll do is I'm going to chuck a couple of clips of your song in this thing because of YouTube and the powers that be, the algorithms. We can just kind of put a little segment.
Yep.
Yeah. And hope you enjoyed listening to that. So you've got a new EP that's coming out in July.
Yep, July 1st.
1st of July. That's it. That's a good time for it to come out. So we'll put the links to that below. Can people do a pre-order or something like that?
I don't have pre-order. You can pre-save it on Spotify if that's
awesome.
your thing.
Yeah, pre-save on Spotify is really good actually for artists. I'm asking my fans to do that for my song now. Because it helps the Spotify algorithm to recognise that people actually like you.
Yeah.
And what's good that you can do if you're, because like what they could do to kind of get ready for the song release is you could go to Spotify. It's Tear or Tear, Tear, and just follow you.
Yeah.
Right. So that and listen to some of the other songs, and that'll get you in the mood.
Yeah.
And then when the new one releases, if you're following, you're probably going to be suggested when you drop that.
Yeah, well, it
EP on
should,
there.
if it's pre-saved, it should come up in your release radar.
Yeah.
On the Friday, so.
Yeah, but also, if people follow you, it comes up in their release radar sometimes.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, definitely.
Just if they're, because it knows, hey, you're going to like that music.
Yeah, any future releases too. So.
Yeah, and it's a good way to support artists. Like, because it's every little bit kind of helps. And pre-saving on Spotify is something that's free for you to do. Following on Spotify is free for you, and you can also purchase the album, which would be the ultimate thing on the Bandcamp.
Yeah,
right?
on Bandcamp.
So we're going to put those
Bandcamp,
links below to this, right?
And if you follow on Bandcamp, you get emailed when things are released too.
There you go. You will
Straight
get
to your inbox.
There you go. Straight to the source.
That's it.
Yeah, okay. So you talked about like you this is a very emotional sort of thing that's invested into this music as you're doing it. Have you ever felt that like music helped you through a particularly dark place in your life?
Definitely. Especially with this EP, definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
Anything you want to talk about?
Not really.
That's fair enough. better to ask. Not laughing at your misfortune. What you have to do is listen to the song intently and try to work out that. Try to work it out. But what's so cool about instrumental is it can have all these different. It can have all these different meanings, right, to people.
Definitely.
I mean, sometimes it happens with vocal parts in a song too. Like, people can take one meaning from it, just even sometimes because they misheard a lyric.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that song was always about that, and it's not.
When you find out you're singing the wrong words for the next 10 years.
Yeah. Or you find out, like, the real meaning of the song and you think, oh, that was about, like, there was a song, I can't remember what it was. It's like, oh, that was about a serial killer. And I was like, oh, I just thought it was a fun song.
Yeah,
like, just a happy-go-lucky fun song. Really? Yeah. So it's kind of good, like, that music can kind of transcend those things.
Yeah, definitely.
What's your favourite instrument to play on your tracks?
Guitar. That's the main one I play.
And you play the guitar on there, right? That's it's quite amazing. Like,
Thank you.
Ghost Room was what I was listening to, and I wrote down here.
Yep.
Was that you? Yeah. Was that you playing on
Yeah,
that?
it's all the guitars are me.
Yeah, it was good.
Pretty much everything else is programmed, but I still have to write it and everything. I've just started getting into, like, I bought a keyboard, like MIDI keyboard. I don't know how long ago. A bit under a year ago, I think. So I'm trying to teach myself that. Before I would just like write everything on guitar.
Yeah.
And then sort of transpose it into Cubase.
Yeah.
But now I've got a keyboard, I can actually play more, which is so I'm actually getting into literally recording more keyboard parts rather than just straight programming everything.
Do you find that interesting, like doing something different, using a different instrument?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been interesting, but
yeah,
no, it's good. I mean,
yeah,
nothing wrong with starting something new.
No, it's good. And so sometimes it can, I don't know, it stimulates different parts of your brain.
Definitely.
It can be frustrating as well because you think, I wish I could just get this out, like, especially when you can hear something and you're like, why can't I just go, like
when you hear it in your head and it's outside of your skill.
Yeah. And then you just go, let me just go back to that guitar. I just know I can do it. Like,
but it's been, because I do a lot of like pads and strings, like, in the background, and I found it so much easier. Like, once I've learnt how to play chords on the piano, I found it so much easier.
Yeah.
To write those backing, the sort of backing sections.
Yep.
I wish I'd done it a lot earlier.
Are there any kind of things that you do to help you get in the mood to write a song? Like, let's say you want to finish a song and you're like, I need to finish this song, and you're not really in the mood. Do you ever kind of push yourself to do it, or do you have to wait to be in the mood?
I don't force myself. If I'm not in the mood, there's no point trying to force it, because I've found that nothing good really comes out of it, because you sit there and you just get frustrated with yourself, and you're like I make music because I love doing it, and if I'm not feeling it and I'm not enjoying it, because of whatever reason, it's time for a break. Just do something else. Even if it's, for half an hour, just go watch TV for half an hour. Something in the show might trigger you. You might hear a cool song. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Then you go back to your computer and you might have a new... But yeah, I don't force it. If I'm not feeling it, don't do it.
Yeah, it's always sort of interesting. Like, I don't know, I always want to know what people do.
Yeah,
but like, there's their little tricks and their things that... everyone's different, right?
Yeah, definitely. But like, it can be frustrating because, like, I don't have a lot of free time in between work and kids and everything. So when I do have time, I want to be spending it. I want to spend as much time as I can on my music. But if I'm really not feeling it, I don't sit there, I've got to, because I've got, half an hour till I've got to pick the kid. No, just don't do it.
Yeah. Do you ever find, like, that you get more ideas when you're in a hurry and you don't have the time for it?
I find I get a lot of good ideas, like, super late at night.
Yeah.
When I've got to be up early in the morning.
Yeah.
Well, because I do a fair bit of work at night, like when the kids are gone to bed.
Yep.
And obviously I've got to be up in the morning, take them to school. And there's been many, many late nights where, like, I'm feeling this song, I'm vibing out, things are coming good, I'm getting good ideas. Things are coming together, and I'm looking at the time, it's like midnight, and I'm like, I just probably go to bed, Like,
kids will be up soon.
Yeah, and then you do it the next night, because you're feeling it, and you don't want to cut that tether short, you want to, if it's a few late nights, do it, I can sleep later.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is. It's fun. It's like, you're when you're on the juice. It's like
exactly.
you don't want to let this train run.
You want to ride it.
Let's see how long this will go for.
Yeah, but like, and when you're having those big creative bursts and things are coming freely and things are good, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, you feel so good, eh?
Yeah, you do.
And you don't want, I should probably go to bed. Like, nah, I want to ride this.
Yeah.
Because it's what we're doing it. We're doing it because we love doing it. So why stop?
Yeah. Do you feel like it energizes you?
Big time.
And you're like, I didn't really even need all that sleep.
Yeah. But you do. You get pumped. You're like, how cool is this? How cool is this song?
It's hard to go to sleep though. Don't you find that?
Oh, it can be.
You have to listen to some peaceful instrumental music.
Gee, if only I had some.
It's funny, like, I find that there's sometimes you're working on something and it's like, it just will not, it's probably, I don't know if it happens because maybe it's a riff that goes in your head, but it's usually a vocal line or something that you just can't get out of your head. Like, it would always happen when up until a few months ago, I was playing with a band for a couple of years and we did covers and stuff, and like, we would do, every time we do a gig, there'd be 2 or 3 new songs, and it'd always be that new song for some reason that you come home and you're like, it's 2 a.m. and you're like, I just want to go to sleep. And it's like, but it's in September going on in your brain. And you're like, why can't I go to sleep?
Especially the high off playing a gig as well. Yeah,
because you're tired, but you're also high from it. And sometimes it happens to me when I'm writing a song as well.
Yep.
And you're just, I think it also because when you're working on a song and you play it over and over and over so much yourself that it's almost gotten to that monotonous point as well for yourself. Well, for me it has sometimes.
It can do. I definitely get to that stage, like when a song's written and I'm doing all the mixing side of it. Sometimes you get so sick of your songs. You're just like, sometimes I need to take a break from the song because it's doing my head in, and come back to it, even if it's could be like a week or whatever, and come back fresh. Because you can get so drained, especially if you're spending all your, like, as much free time as you can working on these songs, and you're just getting sick of them. And I find if I'm starting to get sick of a song, I've got to have a break. Yeah. Because I'll find myself making the wrong decisions, like in the mixing stage, and that I'll find myself making the wrong decisions. Yeah. So if I'm getting to that stage, just need a break. Yeah. Just go back. Just go do something else.
It's good that you can recognise that.
Yeah.
Because you're probably saving yourself a lot of work over double work.
And you find yourself changing things that don't need changing. Or you might sit there working on this song, and then you listen to it in the morning and you've made it worse.
Right.
Like,
But do you ever have this where you go to bed at night, you think, yes, or whenever you've written the song, you're like, this is a great song, and then a few days goes past or an hour goes past or whatever, probably more than an hour, and you listen to it again, you're like, oh, that's rubbish.
yep.
What was I thinking?
Yep. Straight into the bin.
Or you wouldn't throw it away, but you might just not use it.
Yeah,
or use a part of it for something else.
Even if it's just your initial idea. Like if you like these songs, right? Like the initial idea is so, like the final product is like another world away. Sometimes it can be totally indecipherable. Like, and these songs would be a great example. If you listen to the original, like the very first, like sort of, this is what I've started in this afternoon, you listen to how they are now, you wouldn't even recognise them.
Yeah.
But it's that initial idea that you build off. So as long as you've got an idea, so even if that particular thing you don't like, if there's something about it that you know you can expand on, then you know you've got an idea worth working on.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got to have like a little ideas file or an area.
Ideas.
Like I have that, like a little idea, like song ideas. I don't know. Sometimes it's papers for me, or I always use my phone, but I also have half songs. And sometimes it's funny because I was at the studio on Sunday finishing off a song, and I went to open the song that's finished, and it's this is doing the final vocals now. And I was scrolling through the lyrics, and I was like, oh, there's actually like a second song here written underneath this song that I forgot about. And I was like, oh, these were and it just says additional lyrics, but it's enough lyrics to make a whole other song. And I was like, oh, this is good.
You saw your extra brainstorming.
Because you just don't know. And sometimes, you just need those, I just call them spare lyrics, little extra, you must have spare riffs or little ideas,
Big time.
Yeah, where you're going to store all this stuff would make you more productive if you could have a good system for it. I always kind of think
Yeah, because I record everything on Cubase.
Yeah.
So I've got 100 projects that have got about 30 seconds worth of music.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can always go back to them because when you come back to them fresh, sometimes you got new ideas that you hadn't thought of before.
Yep. Yeah, or something happens in your life that's different, right? And you might have a one-liner or an idea, and then it was meaning something to you then, and then something else has happened, and it's now meaning something else. Or you're like, oh, I could extrapolate something else from that, and a new thing emerges from it.
Definitely, and as you get better at your instrument and you get better in your craft, you get better at songwriting, or you've learned something new, or maybe I might have bought a new plugin, since the last time I worked on these songs.
Yeah. Daddy's got a new plugin.
Yeah, that's it. Oh.
Watch out.
Yeah.
Hours and hours.
Just browsing plugin boutique for hours.
Yeah. I'll let someone else do all that stuff for me. So I just watch in awe of their plugins. So I don't want to go down that rabbit hole for myself.
Yeah, it can run very deep.
Yeah. So what about when you're writing a song and you're constructing it? Do you think, are there things that you try to put in to make a song a good song? Do you think, songs should have a certain, not a formula as in it's prescriptive every time, but are there certain things where you try to think this would be great to have in, it has to have a high and a low, it has to have this or that, or?
I don't have any formula.
Yep.
I just let the song take me where it takes me. But you might have a song pretty well fleshed out, in terms of your writing and everything, but sometimes you can be missing something, but you don't always know what it is. So you're sitting there, you're listening to your song, you're like, or even just a section, this section needs something. Don't know what it is or what it sounds like, but it needs it, So then I've got to go back and just try and come up with something because it just doesn't feel finished. It just needs something. and that can be annoying because you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But it needs, because it's not like you're listening. Oh, this song doesn't have a bridge, you know, or there's no pre-chorus here. Like I don't think, like most of my songs don't even have a structure. They just start to finish. So that can be tricky, but it's good, I think, because I'm not trying to restrict myself, or this song doesn't have this in it yet. I need to put one in and then try and work it into the song. If it doesn't need it, why put it in there?
Yep.
But then, you know, if a song's missing something, then put it in there.
Yeah. 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 But you're right. Like if it's missing something, then it could be anything.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
yeah. But do you find that the longer you do it, you get better at that, or that gets quicker?
It can do, definitely. But you might even come up, like, this song needs something. You're like, oh, I might try an arp, or I might try a little bell thing.
Yep.
Or I might try, like, a little guitar melody. And you try something, no, that's crap. Try something else. Sometimes it could be just as much as having, like, a little background effect thing. Just, you know, just to add that extra layer.
Yep.
But yeah, it's frustrating when you don't know what it is and you're sitting there
Yeah.
just making up random crap until something sounds good.
Yeah, but isn't that what?
Yeah,
isn't that the
is
creative process?
Yeah, that is pretty much
Yeah.
it. Just making up crap until it sounds good.
Yeah. But I think most people wouldn't admit to have a fancier way of saying it, maybe. But yeah, it's good. It's good that you can be so brutal and honest and like raw with your stuff. And,
Why not?
Yeah. So I really like what you put on your Spotify description. You said for your band name, because it says Tear or Tear, and I actually read it as Tear first, and then now that I've read your description, I was thinking Tear, and then we were chatting before, and you said it could be either, and it's up to you. And I kind of like that idea.
Yeah.
It's like kind of almost like it's reflective of your music. It's like you make of it what you want.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to tell you what to feel or what it's about, right? So you said on your Spotify, you said tear, to divide or disrupt, to pull the pull of contrary forces. Let me get that right. To divide or disrupt by the pull of contrary forces. And then as a noun, a fluid appearing or flowing from the eyes as a result of emotion. You know, I mean, that's a very clinical way of talking about something would be like, you know, so powerful, like to bring someone to tears with the song.
And just with the definitions, I've incorporated that into my packaging for the CP as well.
Awesome.
So each song is one word, and then in the booklet, the back of the book, it's got the dictionary definition of each song.
Okay.
And it's almost like the journey.
Okay.
Of the EP, if that makes sense.
Right.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Because the songs, like the names and the meanings, it all flows. Mm-hmm. You know, like, so the whole EP is like a journey.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, and I think it's like good to have things that are a bit mysterious.
Yeah.
For people to work out. And
definitely.
Then to like, oh, what's this about? Like, and then that gives you stuff you can talk about later on.
Yeah, definitely.
If you want to. That's great. Yeah. And what about like future directions? Do you think you'll always do instrumental, or do you feel that you'll do other things in the near future?
Well, I can't sing, so.
Okay.
But if anyone wants to collab, I mean, I'd like to one day.
Yep.
Like, you know, try it, but obviously not with myself. But
yeah. When you were doing the metal, what were you playing there? When you were doing the metal?
I was guitar.
Bands? Yeah. You weren't sort of throat singing, and
no,
that's what's ruined your voice.
No, I just can't sing.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I've heard that there's this thing called auto-tune and melodyne.
Yeah, I
and
don't
that,
care for auto-tune.
You can always create a robot voice for yourself. You create your own robot avatar that can sing for you. Probably will happen in the metaverse.
Probably.
Your character can sing and you won't be able to sing at all. Yeah. All right. So what do you think then? Answer this question. What do you think the purpose of music is in the world?
Oh, wow.
To you, like, what's the purpose of music?
It's just to create and, I don't know, just be a driving force and just, like, because I love music, right? Like, I live and breathe music. I'm always listening to music. It's no matter what I'm doing. So, I guess the purpose, yeah, just, I don't know, just be like a driving force. You know,
Okay.
you can, no matter what mood you're in, no matter what you're doing, there's a song for it, right? Like if you're sad, if you're driving, if you're at the gym, if you're working, like there's literally there's a Spotify playlists for everything, right?
Yep.
And it's just like that. It's just it's just my driving force, really.
Yep. Yeah, awesome. That's good. That's a good
Yeah.
answer. Don't need to get too philosophical.
No,
I just like to hear people's answer to that question.
it's a very big question.
It is a big question, and that's all right. It's meant to be a big question. All right. And so, is there anything that you feel that you would like to kind of express in your music that you're kind of working on in terms of like future directions, like using different technologies or, you know, using like, you know, are you kind of like, are you searching for some other way to kind of, because I feel like your music's very emotive, right? And it kind of helps people experience that, and probably for yourself as well. Is there, are you kind of thinking, oh, I'd like to be able to push this more, or you're sort of like, this is that a weird question?
Not sure what you mean.
I mean, are you thinking, are you the sort of person that's thinking, oh, I want to find something, find a new sound, you know, because especially because your music's very sound. That sounds weird because all music is sound based, but because it's instrumental, there's a lot of focus on these individual little sounds. And a lot of people in it do electronic kind of music. And I'm like always looking for like the new sound, like you know, Mighty Boosh, right?
No, yeah,
Like
okay.
searching for the new sound, searching for something unique that's special to, you know, like people don't realize. But what I do is I wrap the microphone in cellophane, and then I put it underwater, and then I breathe upon it, and then I play the piano on top of that, and that's how I get the special. Like, are you kind of?
Yeah, well, I like destroying sound.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, like just getting a sound and just running all these different plugins, distortion or glitches, reverbs, delays, just destroying it, and then creating a sound out of that.
Okay, so almost like destroying it and bringing it back to life as something else.
Yeah,
or
like
bringing it into
creating a new life almost out of it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yep.
Like anyone can just have a simple sound, right? But why not come with something new, or just do your own thing?
Yeah.
Just do whatever. Like, because like I said, I love destroying sound. Like, I love just getting a noise, and just seeing what I can do with it.
Yeah. Okay.
You know?
That's exactly what I was asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, maybe I want it to sound like this, or I want it to just do whatever and just see what happens. Okay. And that's half the fun.
Right. So there's a lot of experimental stuff.
Definitely.
And then that might drive you to kind of go to another part in the song.
Yeah, it can
like, here's a sound. Oh, let's see what could fit around that sound that I've made.
Yeah. Yeah, and different sounds, especially because I have a lot of, like, background noises and stuff, right? So I've found that the background stuff generally drives the vibe more than the actual music. If you know, so you can have like a bit of a guitar and piano, but what you put behind it, if you change that, it can totally change the vibe of the song, even though the music's the same, which is, I think, quite powerful.
You mean as in the drum and bass? Or just other things like ambient sounds?
Yeah. So, like, you can just totally change the vibe of a song just with a background.
Like a bird tweeting or a stick
clanking, exactly.
Or some leaves crunching or
exactly.
something like that. Yeah.
So if you have, like, leaves and birds, right, that's quite nice, and you might get this warm feeling, but then you replace it with rain and thunder sounds, that totally changes the vibe, even though the music can be the same.
And do you ever like seek out to record those things yourself? Like actually go, I've seen people do this.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
go into tent. They're like, I'm gonna get my own thunder, my own rain.
No,
Like,
I would like to.
Yeah.
I haven't yet. I don't have the gear for it.
Yep.
I just use sample packs.
Yep.
But I would like to. It's definitely something I would like to get into.
It's very interesting. I don't know if you've seen that guy that has made a lot of sounds out of like listening to trees with a stethoscope.
Yeah, right.
I think you'd love it. Just look at that. Just look up that on YouTube. And what he does is he's made this stethoscope microphone, and he goes around and listens to plants and records it,
Yeah,
and then makes it into music.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's really strange. Yeah, because I'm always like thinking like, oh, I'd love to have like a unique sound that no one else has, or like imagine if there's a sound that no one's ever heard before.
Like, yeah, definitely. Does
it even exist? Like, I mean, that's probably the uniqueness of voices, right? But then there's certain things that are like, people will be like, oh, that's so and so's guitar, or that's so and so's bass. Like they can tell because of the way they play it, but also the what are those little boxes that they put together?
The pedals.
The pedals. Yeah, sorry, it's really retarded then. I don't know what they're called. You know that boxy thing that they strum? It's got like strings on it. It's like the boxy instrument. The pedals. So the even just rearranging the order of those things, right? Yeah. The same with your plugins and stuff, like the order of them might make a big difference to how the sound comes out, and it can create some like unique secret sauce that people are very precious about telling everybody that they're fair enough, because you spend a lot of time working on that.
That's another thing I love about music is, just the order of things can change the sound so much. So there's this, in terms of creativity, it's limitless of what you can really do. Like people talk about, like rules in music, like in terms of, EQing, and it's like, but really, there's no real rules. Just do whatever you want.
Yeah, I guess if it passes the test of like the sanity of your ears.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're happy with it, and you've got a decent pair of ears.
Yeah, like obviously there's like, guides for that kind of stuff, but it's also throw them out the window and just try something completely left field. Who knows what's going to happen? Yeah,
I bet you there's stuff that you do that, like, because you haven't been properly trained. Like, I don't want to say properly. That's a terrible thing to say. Because you haven't been formally trained. You haven't had to endure being squeezed through a box that isn't who you are.
Exactly.
And it's kind of like, because I went to music school and I did like music at Perth Mod, right? Yeah. And I fucking hated it. I never wanted to do music. I was like, I'm not going to be a musician. I used to wet my pants every time they'd call you up do your... Because you have to do exams in front of everybody. I did singing, like choral singing, so you had to sight sing. And I couldn't read music. Yeah. So when I got into Perth Mod, I got in on the violin. I played the violin for the audition, but they gave me the cello as the instrument I could learn, right? Because they said, you can write down a few different instruments that you might like to learn if you don't get in on your chosen instrument. And I was like, cello sounds good because you get to sit down. That's literally why I chose it. I was like, oh, that's a good one.
That's awesome.
But I really loved it. I loved the cello. And I kind of got away with it for about probably 3 or 4 months, right? Because it's a different clef to read music, right? But I'd learned violin through the Suzuki method, which is learning to play music by ear. Yep. And I've missed out the section of being tutored because our family had kind of gone travelling and stuff, and I didn't have formal lessons for a couple of years, and I basically never learned how to read music. So when I did my audition, I put my music in front of me because that's what everybody does.
Oh, yeah.
So I would just pretended. I had no idea what was on the plate. I mean, I probably was using it as a guide. Like I could roughly read it. Yeah. But like, there's no way I could just read a piece of music and just kind of play it. Like, what the hell? Anyway, then they called my mum into the office at the school and said, we've never had this situation before. We're not sure what to do, but it's come to our realisation that your daughter can't read any music. like, not any music. And they're like, we don't know how she's got this far.
Yeah, right. Just totally winged it.
Like, she just seems to, like, learn it by my mum's not like me, but, like, you know, I'm like, by this skill called listening, and then playing what you've heard, like, that's also a skill, like, don't downplay that.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Anyway, so I had to learn how to read music, but I just found that, I don't know, I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it, and it wasn't creative. Now, if you go to music school as an adult, like especially a sound school or something, they're not going to force you into a bucket that you don't belong in. But they kind of sometimes do in those, like if you go to Whopper or like the Con or whatever, you've got to do X, Y, and Z as well as the thing you really want to do. Do you know what I mean?
Like you've got to, they have like a criteria.
Yeah, like you've got to, you know, I don't know, like you can't just go there and say, oh, I'm just gonna, you know, do my creative instrumental music and nobody bother me and lock me in this room and I'll just come up with something great, right? But like there is something kind of to that idea of like just being one is, I mean, I'm a big believer that people do need lessons, but at the same time there's stuff that I've done without lessons, right? So I've learned how to play guitar with no lessons. Now my guitar's pretty terrible, but it's enough for me to write my songs, and then I get other people to play the guitar, you know, when it comes to the recording stuff. Right. But I'll play guitar on a live stream, or I'll play it at an acoustic gig or something like that, and it's just enough to get, you know, it's okay. But like think about, like, I don't know if you know, like people like historical people like Paganini, for instance, who was a famous violinist, probably the world's most famous violinist, and people used to think he was demon possessed.
Oh, because he was so good.
Yeah, because he was so good, right? He could fiddle so quite quickly, right? And his parents used to think he was his dad used to use him as a show pony to make money for the family.
Yeah.
Right? And he was locked in his room for 4 hours a day, and he was not given any food until he had done these 4 hours a day of practice.
Yeah, right.
And this is a story I was told, basically, be grateful that you're not being locked in a room. Not that my parents never forced me. Like, I was the one who wanted to learn the violin.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to do it. But comes a time when you're a kid where you need to be kind of, hey, we're paying for these lessons, you better bloody practice your violin.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You need to be incentivized. So I don't know how this story was incentivizing us, but we kind of knew about the story, right? And it's like, there's some genius that comes from, like, that's how Paganini got so great.
Yeah.
And he was so amazing, right? So I don't know if, so he used to do this thing with his violin, like there's a piece, I can't remember the name of it, but where it would cover all the 4 strings. But he would purposefully sear, like, the strings, like here, 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 like here, just enough so that when he would start playing, oh, whoops, they would fall off the violin.
Oh, wow.
And so he would have to play the whole rest of the piece on the G string, which is the hardest one to play. And he'd have to go through the, you know, and this was this little trick. Like, he was, so, you know, his dad was kind of, had made him into that show pony thing, I guess. But, you know, there's something that, like, I think, because we push people into these boxes of stuff, that imagine all that time if you weren't in that box, you could actually just explore your creativity all that whole time, and imagine who would emerge. Like, would you be the greatest?
Yeah.
You know, so it's not the be all and end all that you didn't do any formal training. Like, that could actually be to your advantage. You know, because you're not sitting there thinking, oh, I have to do it this way because that's the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and you can actually, explore your own.
Yeah, and a lot of it's been trial and error as well. So, you know, like, I might be doing things that, you know, someone who's been to, like, audio engineering school will be like, what are you doing that for?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't do it like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, it sounds cool, so who cares?
Do you ever have to get someone else to listen to it to double check it? Like, do you think, oh, sometimes I've listened to this too much, I need a second pair of ears to...
I never used to, but I'm starting to now. But, like, when I had them mastered, I was given mixed feedback anyway.
Yeah. And was that helpful? Was that good?
Definitely, big time. Like, when I sent them to him, he was like, oh, I'll offer you, you know, mixed feedback. And then he sent me this email. Like, here we go. There's going to be this bloody this long with all this stuff I've got to fix.
Wrong.
Yeah, but that was, actually, yeah, he was pretty happy with them. There was nothing major I had to do, and then he just had a few kind of ideas, which stuff I hadn't thought of,
Yeah.
and some ideas I put into the final one, and other ideas I tried but didn't like, and that's totally fine.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm definitely like getting into it more about trying to get more of that feedback before you put it out there, sort of thing.
Yeah, but it's hard because you don't want I mean, you can't just let any old people listen to your stuff either.
Yeah, that I'll send a lot of my stuff to my dad, and he's like, "Oh, this is awesome!
Yeah.
This is so," and I'm like, "But it's not helpful."
Yeah. Like it's all awesome. Which one is the most awesome?
Yeah, because it's a lot of it's on the production side of it. I need someone who, you have to be a bit more production inclined, so you can actually give that kind of mixed feedback, if you know what I mean. Like, there's too much low end, or
Yes.
there's a resonate here, or whatever it is. And you can give a song to anyone, like, yeah, this is cool, but it's not really, or they don't like it, and like, why not? I just don't like it.
Yeah.
What is it about the song?
Yeah, I think that's a special skill that only certain people would
Definitely.
have, and it's it's not. I don't know. There's a difference between, like, I guess when you're writing a song and it's not the production that you're asking them for a feedback on. It's like, do you like this? Is this a good song idea? Do you reckon I should pursue this song idea? Like, that might be different to, like, I know there's sometimes, like, the producer I work with, sometimes he hears stuff that I'm like, I can't even hear that. Like, I'll listen to it for several, like, not that often, but a few times, and I'm like, and if I really listen that hard, yeah, okay, now I can hear it, but, and this is not in headphones, this is just in the normal thing, and it's like, I'm like, your ears are like super ears.
Yeah, it comes with time, I suppose, but then it's like you can so easily get like bunkered down with how a song sounds, but 95% of the people that listen to it don't make music, so they're not going to know this stuff. So, but obviously you want your song to sound good. Like, that's not, people aren't going to know. That's just a cop out. You want it to sound good, but something that I've always struggled with is, like, I always want everything to be perfect, right? I want things to be, like, I've really pushed myself. I want things to be really good, but kind of that fine line between where you want your song to sound to be good without it being, like you're just focusing too much on just little tiny things that don't matter.
Yep.
Like, it's okay if a song's not perfect, Like, I've got, like, if you listen to these songs, you'll, like, the last track on there, the guitar was completely improvised from start to finish in one go. Awesome. And if you listen to it, there's so many mistakes in it. And, like, I edited a few out because some of them were just too big. But if you actually listen to the guitar, you'll hear there's a lot of mistakes in it.
Do you want me to edit that out?
No. No, that's the whole point. Because
but it's organic as well. That gives a different feel.
It's a completely genuine performance, right? It's not, because you listen to a lot of songs, especially in like rock and metal and stuff. A lot of it's like note by note, really intricate, like surgical. Everything's bang on the dot. Everything's perfect, and I want to get away from that. I want people, like, I know a lot of it can be hard because a lot of my stuff is programmed. But when you listen to the guitar, you'll be able to hear mistakes. And I do sections at a time.
Have you ever listened to Lauryn Hill? Do you know who she is? She's like I think she was in the Fugees, the band.
The Fugees.
Okay. Sorry my age now. Strumming my pain with his fingers.
Oh, I know that song.
Yep. Okay. But so she's got an album called The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, and she did a same thing Nirvana did, that unplugged thing, right? Same kind of time as that, right? And that, if you listen to her unplugged recording on Spotify, it's very emotive, and it's just her playing, and there's tons of mistakes in it. One of them, she just stops and she goes, oh, sometimes you make a mistake. Like, she was a big artist around that time. Like, she was very big. And then she just kind of disappeared off, I think, because she might have had something happen with her tax being, I heard, a tax fraud or something. not
that ought to do it.
But, yeah, it's really sad because I really liked listening. I don't know what happened, why she never kept going on with the music. But, yeah, it's really emotive, and it's like acoustic. And, yeah. And there's one song that's on there called Peace of Mind, and that's the one she kind of like, she's just kind of doing the guitar thing, and it just kind of, she just stops the performance. And then go, oh, we'll start again, sort of thing. By listening to the radio and those same chords and that similarity.
It's all
and then
hyper-produced.
We feel that we have to fit that thing. And that's something I do feel like with your music. It's got, because you got those like woodland sounds or organic sounds in there. Like maybe that's what gives it that difference. Like, you've got the electronic aspects, you've got the electric guitar, but then you've also got these sounds of rain or sounds of
there's a lot of, especially a lot of string, like a lot of string. You know, like I love the sound of combining orchestras with like electronic stuff, and that's totally what I'm digging at the moment.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah,
you know, but yeah, like music's just so perfect now. And I just want to step away from that. Like, and it's taken a while because I used to be like that. Everything had to be perfect, and you're sitting there and you're moving your notes and making sure they bang on they hit on time. And it's like, but why? Yeah. It just becomes so like artificial. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, I never felt like, I think the opposite of, also the further away you get from that perfection, it can get to where it's like sloppy and
there's definitely a middle ground.
Yeah, and I never heard that in your music. Like, it wasn't like, oh, like, because I've heard some other people not professional people that are trying to be professional, and they think that they've got a YouTube channel, and you know the ones like, and they send you songs and you're like, oh, this is like literally hurting my ears.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're destroying my musical acuity. Like, listen to your song, but I'll endure it and send you a thumbs up or something. Because you don't want to destroy their soul, right? Because they're just getting started. And you give those sort of people feedback, like just little things like, oh, I know a really good producer, you should probably go and, you know, you could really just make your song awesome. And they're like, oh, thanks, I'm doing okay by myself or whatever. And you're like, yeah, you're not.
Yeah, there's...
but anyway, so your songs are got the good organic feel where it's like, cool. I don't know, there's something totally different. So you have to check out Chris's music. Tear, make your choice, flip a coin.
Yeah, just pick one and run with it.
Yeah, awesome. So we're going to put the link below for Bandcamp. 1st of July, you can grab your new EP. What's your EP called?
Ataraxia.
Ataraxia?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It is a state of serene calmness.
Oh, wow, there you go. State of serene
calmness. Which is
calmness.
Kind of the end goal.
Yeah. Oh, so at the end of that, you'll be blissed out.
Hopefully.
Yeah. It's a great album. It's a great EP.
Thank you.
So awesome. So I hope that you've enjoyed watching and listening to our chat today. We've had lots of different bits of conversation, and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're still with us. Yeah, you're still listening on YouTube. Make sure you click that subscribe and the like button, and let us know in the comments what you think of the album when it comes out. And jump on the Spotify and get some instrumental music in your life.
That's it. Get it in you.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Keep doing what you're doing, and
thank you.
Yeah, don't be fitted into any boxes.
No, definitely not.
Just keep experimenting.
That's it.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right. Thanks everyone.
See ya.
Bye.